I'm a nursing student. Please leave a comment for me because what I'm about to ask is complex situations. Not once in those 5 years of education have I ever heard, but what I'm really interested in, we don't talk about the first time that someone put a label on it and was like, you need to watch out for this, can take a toll on you. You can be traumatized. You become traumatized by, sorry, there's lots of trucks and I'm a little distracted. It hasn't come up yet. It hasn't come up yet. I really appreciate putting a label on it. It hasn't been acknowledged yet. Stay tuned for that. We need to know. And while that didn't necessarily happen, I'll learn. I just need to appreciate what's in front of me. Hi guys, it's Stacy here with Nurse and Nurture. Just wanted to do a quick little check-in update video. So I'm just about to head into my class, that's why I'm in the Jeep. I finished about 2 weeks ago my med-surg rotation, clinical rotation at the hospital here in town, and yesterday I had my first day of my mental health clinical rotation. So I'm really excited about my mental health rotation. Given my background in mental health, I'm excited all the time to learn new things, different resources available in town, to kind of understand mental health under an RN scope as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I wanted to talk a little bit about my med-surg experience because I went in just jazzed. I was gonna put myself out there and I was going to, sorry, there's lots of trucks and I'm a little distracted. So I went into my med-surg rotation just totally jazzed. I was ready to put myself out there and kind of seize every opportunity that came up. I would be the first one to put my hand up. I was so excited to learn my skills, practice them, become more proficient, and do everything I can to just soak up every moment. And while that didn't necessarily happen, I still left my med-surg rotation really jazzed because it gave me an opportunity to reflect and kind of understand the importance of a lot of other things. I'm a nursing student. I understand we're all hungry to do our skills and just become really good practitioners that way. But there's a whole lot of other things that are important. And while I didn't get to inject any needles yet, run an IV, I do think it made me stop and think about a lot of the valuable learning that I did do in that rotation, because a lot of the patients I was assigned were actually really complex. And while they weren't on any IV or IM medication, there was still a lot of really great things to learn. I learned how so many comorbidities can be present and how heart failure can affect so many systems in your body and just all the medications that people are on for these things. And then I learned, I believe I can empathize and communicate well in tough situations, but I hadn't ever been faced with the idea that somebody was palliative. So just, how do you approach somebody when you know that they're at the end of their life was a really valuable learning experience for me. So while I went in and I was like, no skills, blah, I actually think I really did learn a lot of new skills and had a lot of really good things highlighted to me. And I think as a nursing student, if I can reinforce the message that our skills will come, we're never gonna have to do something that we've never done before. There's always going to be someone to teach us, so that every moment that we're learning and engaging with patients is all super valuable. So yeah, don't give up hope if you go into a clinical and it's not what you thought it was going to be. It's not how you imagined it. You didn't get to do XYZ that you were really holding on hope for. Stop and think about all the really cool things you did get to do. That's what I had to do, because I was like, oh man, I'm never gonna get to give a needle. How am I gonna learn how to do this? I'll learn. I just need to appreciate what's in front of me. So like I said, Monday, today's Wednesday, I started my mental health rotation. I'm really excited to learn what's available. We went to a community resource here in town, an excellent drop-in center, got to really hang out and spend time with some really interesting people who were super brave and resilient and shared their stories of mental health and how healthcare professionals helped them or didn't help them, All those stories are super valuable, so I'm really excited for what's to come. But what I'm really interested in, and if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and please leave a comment for me, because what I'm about to ask is something that really hits home for me. I think it's super important, and I'm just learning that there seems to be a gap in our education. So I did my first undergrad in New Brunswick. I went to university there and did a Bachelor of Arts in psychology with a minor in gerontology and a sociology honors. Sorry, I get that confused sometimes. Anyway, my focus was strong on mental health. I wrote my thesis on autism. So from, leaving high school, I always focused on caring for people that are dealing with complex situations and learning how people are impacted. From there, I went to NSCC and I did an advanced diploma in behavioral intervention. I learned so many great things, different tools. I believe actually what I learned in college was probably more, not applicable, but less theory, more direct skills to do various interventions and just broaden my horizons, specifically dealing with people with trauma, various disabilities, complex mental health issues. But not once in those that would have been 5 years of education have I ever heard vicarious trauma. We talk all the time about how to support people with trauma, how to support people who are stressed, but we don't talk about vicarious trauma. And it was only when I went up north and I was working in the Yukon did I start to learn about vicarious trauma. And then when I went to Alberta, we learned more about vicarious trauma, transference and countertransference, and just basically how dealing with people with various life experiences, complexities, can take a toll on you. And you can vicariously be traumatized. You become traumatized by hearing all this hardship and dealing with all these really tough things. And it was the first time that someone put a label on it for me and made it so that sorry, someone just parked beside me and now I feel weird. I'm gonna pretend I'm on a FaceTime call. But it was the first time that someone put a label on it and was like, you need to watch out for this. So I'm about to finish my 3rd year of nursing school. I'm on the second half of semester 6, and it hasn't come up yet. We talk about self-care and we talk about burnout, but I really appreciate putting a label on it and how we hear about trauma, we hear about horrific things that happen to people, and trauma comes in so many shapes and forms that, it can sneak around and be anywhere. So for us to not acknowledge that we can also become traumatized, not just stressed out because of the job and burnout because, we're burning the candle at both ends, but actually how those experiences of other people take a toll on us. And I just feel like it hasn't been acknowledged yet. And so I'm really interested, and I'm holding out hope that my first mental health rotation, that we'll get into it. Stay tuned for that. I feel like it might not come up, but it might be worthy of a question for my instructor, and how do we talk about this? How do we get this conversation going? Because it's everywhere, and we're care providers, and we need to know how hearing all these stories, seeing all these things can have an impact on us. So how do we live with that, deal with that, cope with that, so that we can be strong, compassionate, confident, and competent care providers? Anyways, don't forget to nan yourself. Vicarious trauma's everywhere. Don't forget that there's always good learning to be had. No matter what your expectations were, there's always a lesson. Again, if you like this video, give me a little thumbs up, hit that subscription button. There's gonna be more. I'm gonna be posting a carnivore update soon, just in case you're wondering. I'm almost at my month. And then stay tuned for how school's going. I'm about to finish semester 6, hoping to learn about some co-ops coming up. That information's a little slow to come, but that's okay. We'll get it. And yeah, so stay tuned. Hit that subscription button and don't forget to nan yourself. See ya.